Good day, everyone. Good day, listener. This is John Agustin Senyo from BSC 1-8 presenting to you the topic that I assigned to me is the premenstrual syndrome and battered child syndrome. At the end of this presentation, I hope you learn about the topic I'm going to discuss here. So before we proceed to the main topic, I will give two pictures and we are going to define. So let us define what is picture show about. First picture, it is show one girl or one person with different emotions. As you can see that the picture is divided with four, which is the first picture is smiling or happy, the second picture is sad, the third picture is crying, and the fourth picture the last one is laughing. Then the next picture is it is show maltreatment or child abuse, and she has a bruise on her face, and I feel sorry to the son or daughter who felt this situation, and the picture that I show to you is connected to the topic that I will discuss to you. So the first topic is premenstrual syndrome or PMS. Premenstrual syndrome is the name for the symptoms women can experience in the weeks before their period. Most women have PMS at some point. You can get help if it affects your daily life. It is refers to changes in mood and emotions, physical health, and behavior that develop between evolution and the start of your period, roughly the 2 weeks before your period. Last until a few days after your period begins. Show up consistently each month. I remember that when my girl or when my mom or auntie have a period, I did not understand why they are so aggressive. Like they fast when it comes to changing in mood. Or in short, when they have a red days or period, they become a short tempered. And when they call me, I should be there as soon as possible. Because like what I said a while ago, they so faster when it comes to changing in mood. So I will say that it is so hard to be a girl because you are going to experience that every month you are going to experience the PMS. And and the and we as a men not experience that. So to the girls that fast changing mood, I understand na, and I will obey na kung ano man yung inuutos sa akin. So next slide is premenstrual syndrome. May be effective as an affirmative defense to a criminal charge if the defendant can show that she was suffering from premenstrual syndrome at the time the crime was committed. And because of her condition, either that the criminal act was an involuntary act or that at the time of the criminal act she did not possess the mental state required by law for the commission of crime. So when the girl was suffering by premenstrual syndrome or PMS while the crime was committed, the girl who's suffering PMS ay hindi na makukulong. Bakit? Because she can use her PMS and said that she did that because she is not feeling well. For example, Sandra was suffering premenstrual syndrome. So, while she's walking back at her home, because of she's not feeling well While Sandra walking, a guy from nowhere call her, then make a face. So Sandra changing mood into anger, then she hurts the guy. So when a guy was a file a case because Sandra hurts him, Sandra can use her PMS to avoid to be prisoner. So who is the founder of the premenstrual syndrome? Let's proceed to the next page. Katharina Dalton was a British physician and pioneer in the research of premenstrual stress syndrome, coining the term treating many women and testifying as an expert witness in influential court cases. She was born in November 11, 1916 in London, United Kingdom. Then namatay siya noong September 17, 2004 in Poole, United Kingdom. Then According to Katarina Dalton, the symptoms of PMS are cyclic in nature, generally beginning from 7 to 14 days before menstruation and ending within 24 hours after menstruation has begun. So, what are the symptoms of PMS? So, let's proceed to the next page. Now, when you feel PMS symptoms, overview, premenstrual syndrome or PMS has a wide variety of signs and symptoms including mood swings, tender breast, food cravings, fatigue, irritability, and depression. It's estimated that as many as 3 of every 4 menstruating women 3 of every 4 menstruating women have experienced some form of premenstrual syndrome. Kumbaga, 3 sa 4 na babaeng nakakaranas ng PMS. Now, we're done to the topic of PMS. Let's proceed to the battered child syndrome. The physical sign of child abuse used to be called battered child syndrome. This syndrome referred to multiple fractures in different states of healing. The fractures occurred at different times in children too young to have received the fractures as a result of an accident. So, the definition of child abuse has since expanded significantly. Physically, child abuse or non-accidentally child at different ages, but it also includes numerous other signs of injury. Battered child syndrome is defined as the collection of injuries sustained by a child as a result of repeated mistreatment or beating. If a child's injuries indicate intentional trauma or appear to be more severe than could reasonably be expected to result from an accident. Battered child syndrome should be suspected. Battered child syndrome, a disease in which children are physically abused. It is also a form of child abuse. Battered child syndrome is a tragic and disturbing phenomenon. Unfortunately, it is a crime that is often successfully hidden by its perpetrators. Law enforcement has an important role to play in uncovering cases of battered child syndrome and gathering evidence for their successful prosecution. We have a case of a cell that did not told of a prosecutor. Why? Because some of people are psycho that have no conscience. And one of these example is syndicate. So I remember a news from TV. I did not know the exactly year, but I think it's 2010 or something. I did not remember the year. Then those syndicate kidnap teenager and below. Then they remove the organ. Again, they remove the organ and sell it. This is one of the example of child abuse. And yan. So, who developed battered child syndrome? The battered child syndrome was initially described by Kempe and colleagues in 1962 and elaborated further by Kempe and Helfer in 1972 as the clinical of injury was not consistent with the severity and type of injury observed. C. Henry Kempe was an American pediatrician and the first in the medical community to identify and recognize child abuse. He was born in April 6, 1922 in Wrocław, Poland. Namatay siya noong March 8, 1984 in Honoma Bay, Hawaii, United States. So what are the long-term effects of being mistreated as a child? Maltreatment can cause victims to feel isolation, fear, and distrust, which can translate into lifelong psychological consequences that can manifest as educational difficulties, low self-esteem, depression, and trouble forming and maintaining relationships. I don't even imagine that there are people can do this. I think the people who commit this crime has a sick in brain. So I asked my grandmother and one of my auntie. I asked that, what would you say to the people commit child abuse? Then they say that all the people commit child abuse are should be dead. And I laughed. Then I said that all people commit crime has going punishment by the law. Hayaan na natin yung batas na magparusa sa mga ganyang tao and going to prison. But some point, they are people that not caught by the police. And this, di ba, may mga taong nakakatakas, hindi na nakikita ng mga police. Ayun. So this is the last page of my PPT. So thank you for listening and I hope you will have learned from